Hello, Pisces. Welcome to your April 2023 astrology predictions. Now, I know we're well into April already. We had a couple of events happen. We had Mercury come into Taurus. Here's Mercury right here coming into Taurus. And we had a full moon in Libra. All right. Now, the last week and a half of April is really where all the big stuff is going down. Right now, we are building up to a total solar eclipse, a new moon eclipse, which is happening on the 19th at 29 degrees of Aries. We also have Mercury in pre-shadow, so he's starting to slow down, and he officially retrogrades on the 21st. Now, really for you, we have to bring up Saturn, all right? I think Saturn is kind of the most important influence in Pisces' path right now. Saturn is helping Pisces establish a new life and build new foundations, especially Pisces, if you have felt like certain aspects of your life have just completely unraveled over the past several years, and now this is a time where you kind of pick yourself up by your bootstraps and you just kind of get digging and get going, and you start getting that foundation in order. And I do think there's a determination and a strength and a power, and there's a lot of self-accountability and self-responsibility with Saturn coming through the first, meaning you're not going to sit here and rely upon other people for anything really other than, obviously if you're married or something, that's a little bit different, but you're not expecting anyone to go out there and make your dreams happen. There's a lot of self-focus here with Saturn in Pisces, and a lot of responsibility that you take on specifically to make those things happen. And with that being said, there are some transitions at play for Pisces, okay? As the moon comes into its eclipse degree, 29th degree on April 19th or the 20th if you're in Europe or Australia, obviously there are going to be financial themes, but financial themes also coincide with your sense of self-worth, your sense of self-respect. And this is one of the choices that Pisces is going to have to make, especially if you're not happy with your income and you're not happy with, the financial or the materialistic aspect of your life. If you're looking around and you're feeling a sense of, I'm not going to say full-on disappointment, because it doesn't even have to be disappointment. It can be, but it could also just be stagnation or complacency. Okay, now contentment in this case, a little bit different than complacency. I feel like if you've just sort of settled, but you actually don't really want to settle and you're not content with the notion of settling, this eclipse is really going to fire you up. It's a Mars-ruled eclipse, right? It's in Aries, so it's ruled by Mars, and there's a connection with Mars over here in the 5th house. This has a lot to do with enjoyment and pleasure of life, okay? It might also be, if you're out there dating, you're actively dating, you might meet a romantic partner that has certain qualities that you're hoping to kind of blossom within yourself. I don't want to talk about whether or not you're going to get into a relationship or anything. I don't think that's really what it's about. It's about what they're reflecting back to you. It's about what that person is awakening within you, right? They are awakening this desire for more of something or different of something, but probably more money or a better materialistic experience in your life, okay? And then we have Mercury. Now let's talk about the dates with some of this stuff. Mercury, as it stands right now today, is already starting to slow down as he is in pre-shadow phase and as he is building up to his retrograde. The eclipse is on the 19th, late on the 19th, and then we have Mercury retrograde official on the 21st. So it's just like a day and a half between the two events, which means that during the eclipse, Mercury is barely moving at all. And he comes up to this 15th degree mark right next to Uranus. And in the third, I mean, this is agitating enough as it is, but being in this third house, I think Pisces is going to be like ripping their hair out, being like, oh my gosh, like I have to move. I have to have movement in my life. I have to have transition. I have to like figure out something else. And this is a collection time for Pisces. It's time for you to collect information. Go out there and do your research. Okay, get online. That's what we do nowadays, right? Get online and just see what options you have available for yourself. Now, this doesn't necessarily have to be finance related, but if you are looking for a new job or you are looking for new ways to leverage your skills and talents, and you're looking for new opportunities to provide value to more people so you can have a more income, all of those things are on the table for Pisces, okay? And Mercury is like, all right, you got to figure it out. Figure it out. And with Uranus being involved, I like Uranus for his brilliance and his genius, his innovation and inventiveness. Those are the words I'm using apparently this month to describe the Uranian influence. There is a lightning bolt moment that is possible for Pisces, but you have to put yourself in the right forum, okay? Being in a sea of information and really immersing yourself in examining your options, that's going to put you in the right state of mind to receive those lightning bolt moments, okay? And I do feel by the end of this retrograde, which will be in May, by the end of this retrograde, you're going to feel like you're on an entirely new track. And if you've had failures over the past couple of years, or if you've just been in a state of acceptance, like I said before, this is going to be a time where I think you're like, I don't accept this. It's like a period of rejection for Pisces. I'm going to reject this. And that's important. The rejection is important because that is what lights the fire under your butts to get you going, okay? And I do think I'm using that phrase, lighting a fire under your butt, because the eclipses are in Mars-ruled signs this time, okay? We have the new moon eclipse on the 19th at 29 degrees of Aries, and then in May 5th, I think it's May 5th, we have the full moon eclipse in Scorpio at 14 degrees, so traditionally ruled by Mars. Okay? So Mars is not an idle planet, and being in this fifth house, he wants to create stuff. He wants to make stuff happen. And he is, even though he's technically in his fall position, he is still in a cardinal sign. And cardinal signs love Mars, okay? I'll even say that's true for Libra as well, because this is an initiating modality. Cardinals initiate, and Mars loves to initiate. That is his gig, okay? He does really, really well with that environment. So even though he's technically in fall, it doesn't mean he's just sitting there doing nothing, okay? He wants to get his hands dirty. He wants to be in the trenches. He wants to create something wonderful and beautiful. Now, one thing I would recommend is I don't think, Pisces, you should be talking about stuff. Now, I know this Mercury is in a house of communication, but Venus, as she comes into Gemini here, activates the fourth house. Privacy is super important. Venus is still one of the strongest planets in the chart right now as she leaves Taurus and enters Gemini. She's still going to be really, really strong. And in the fourth house, and even a Mars in Cancer, and even the full moon in Scorpio, there are a lot of elements here that suggest how important it is to keep things private. This is like if you're looking for a new job, I wouldn't tell everybody about it, okay? I wouldn't like talk to your friends and get advice and I wouldn't do that with a Mercury retrograde like this, okay? If it was just Mercury coming through the third and we didn't have all this other weird stuff going on, then yes, by all means, involve other people. But this is just simply not the time. Keeping it to yourself until you have more of a grip on stuff. Because I don't know that Pisces is going to have a very strong or firm grip until Mercury starts stationing direct and starts moving direct and gets to the other side of Uranus. Okay, so that's going to be a while. It's not happening in April. All right. And then you can start talking and bringing people in on it. But for now, actually, you know what? I'm just kind of thinking the next time Mercury retrogrades, he's going to be retrograding in Virgo. And I actually think that will be a better time to get advice from people. That's going to be, through Virgo season. It will be a better time. Actually, Leo season. Okay. It will be a better time for Pisces to communicate and get people's ideas and advice and everything. The only reason why I'm saying that is not just because of Uranus, but also because of the North Node. Mercury is like going back and forth here between North Node and Uranus. And while Uranus can have all this brilliance, North Node can have a lot of delusion. And I don't think we need to be involving other people in that. Okay, we need to wait until things settle. And I don't think you should be making hard and fast agreements and commitments. Like I wouldn't be signing big paperwork or, financially doing something. Now, if you already got a job offer, then by all means, like you can continue with that. But during this time frame, if you can delay, I would recommend a delay. Okay. And it's not just that it's a retrograde here, but the fact that it's in the third house. Like this is you're the only one I'm saying this to because it's in the third house. And third house is a very transitory house, and it's hard to really get commitment type of stuff coming through here. It's a little too all over the place, and Uranus and North Node make it even more so. And even Venus coming into Gemini makes it also all over the place too. We want a little bit more stability. So as we make our way through Cancer and Leo season, then that's when I say, okay, yes, you can make a little bit more commitments during that time when Mercury does, okay? When Mercury comes into these signs. We also have Pluto also stationing retrograde. He officially retrogrades on May 1st. So while we have the eclipse and we have Mercury, we also have Pluto just inching forward, just teeny tiny movements here. We did get a little bit of a taste of Pluto in Aquarius. He's going to quickly retrograde back into Capricorn. But I do feel Pluto has activated this massive theme of freedom. And if there are certain circumstances that you are unhappy with, which material stuff is included in that, this is that, like, it's got to change attitude, right? We've got to do something about it. It's got to change. We have to evolve. We have to do something else. And this eclipse season is really getting the ball rolling with actually building this new foundation, Saturn in the first, upon which your entire next 20, 30 years is going to be built. I do believe that Pisces has some semblance, some idea of what it is they're looking for. What are you looking for with a relationship? What are you looking for your career and your money and your children, your family, and all the different areas of your life that are really important to you? You have an idea of what that looks like. And now it's a matter of brick by brick, that's Saturn, brick by brick, moment by moment, decision by decision, you start building that life. Saturn is a builder, okay? He gets his hands, I often think of him as like a bricklayer, right? He just does one brick, and then before you know it, he's got this massive building in front of him, okay? So you're building right now, and building takes time. There's no rush. And yes, there's going to be a lot of agitation here with this Mercury situation, but it doesn't mean you need to be rushing forward with things. In fact, I don't think you should this month, okay? All right, Pisces. Thank you so much. You guys know how much I love and adore you. Have an amazing April, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.